Hello, everyone. My name is Ulysses Velasquez, and I'm just going to be doing questions 3 through 4 and part one for Beak of the Finch. Been having some communication issues with my partner, so I just figured I'd post something just in case maybe something's going on, and that way you guys can have something. So, question number 3 says, "What are Darwin's first impressions of the Galapagos finches?" This is very interesting. Due to their diversity, Darwin first he failed to recognize that a lot of the finches from the islands were actually related. And in the reading, it says that he actually had not considered them special, and he figured that he would find more birds like them as he traveled to other locations he hadn't visited, like the coast of South America. Um, in the reading, it says that he wrote that he hadn't considered that the finches being so close in proximity to each other on the islands could have very many differences between the species. And so probably, considering the concept of migration, he probably thought that, these finches are probably going to be very much like each other. And so I also thought it was interesting in this chapter that one of his colleagues said that they could identify a tortoise based on its shell and tell you from what island it came. So if they were able to do that and identify a tortoise by its shell and say it came from this island, then perhaps maybe he would have considered, I wonder if there are differences between these finches after all, and perhaps you can tell them the difference between them through the islands that they're on. Maybe there are other factors going on. Um, Question 4 says, "Why did Darwin raise pigeons and then spend many pages discussing them in the origin of species?" Um, so he had actually noticed something that had caused the finches. With the finches he had collected to be different, and he thought that perhaps the difference between the finches were unified by a common ancestor. And one thing he had noticed is that humans were able to manipulate how species looked, species of dogs, species of horses through breeding, and probably also due to him being sick and not being able to travel and wanting to do research, he decided to work with pigeons, and he wanted to see the work of selection for himself. And so he started to breed these pigeons to see if he could alter their phenotypes. And in doing so, he could experience firsthand the phenomenon of selection and experience it for himself. And so these are our answers to questions 3 and 4. And have an awesome rest of your evening. And if you have any questions, post them down below.